Ah, my carpal tunnel. Well, what if we use this instead? It's an IE tracker. It can track the X, Y, and Z axis, and it's basically a joystick. And I got 10 of them, so I just mapped them to different actions that would map to a controller. So let's write some code. And yeah, let's test it. You can look around. Ignore the random punching that another tracker is triggering. Alright, time to test all the trackers. So, we start off just by playing some of the Halo campaign. We're able to somewhat reliably navigate. When I twist my body, it turns the camera, and when I tilt my body, I can move forwards, backwards, and strafe left and right. Pulling my arm on my right hand side backwards will shoot my gun, and if I swipe in the direction in front of me, I will actually be able to punch. Also, lifting my feet causes me to jump. So we throw some grenades, shoot at a few enemies. One thing I will say is thank God for aim assist existing in console shooters, because yeah, aiming would not be possible, or at least not as possible. So we push through a bit more. You can kind of see me testing out the melee. Shoot out a few other enemies. Toss a few more grenades. And all things considered, this doesn't look terrible. And honestly, like, the fact that I'm able to just kind of navigate without using my hands and fingers and just using my other joints is actually pretty cool.
Welcome to the party. It's a mess, sir. We're scattered all over this valley. We called for evac, but until you showed up, I thought we were cooked.
So,
Don't worry, Sergeant.
so other things that I could probably mention is the ABXY buttons are kind of interesting. Some of them I've kind of mapped to different angle tolerances on my feet. Some of them are on my arms. Yeah, basically when a tracker goes past a certain angle, I'm able to detect that and treat it as a button press. And we feed that into X input. And that's what allows us to, oh, that Marine died. But that's what allows us to simulate a controller. So, I tried out another game, Jet Set Radio Future. Since it's a game that's a little more, it's not a first-person shooter, different style of game. How well would my fake controller setup work in another game? And so far, it appears as though I'm able to navigate around and jump and all that stuff. So it's actually kind of cool. I've essentially turned two games into motion games just by feeding tracking data into equivalent button presses that these games can understand. Also, can I just quickly talk about how awesome the Jet Set Radio Future soundtrack is? Hideki Naganuma is just a great musician. I think my favorite song from him is like Concept of Love. But yeah, being able to just like skate around by tilting my body and all that stuff is pretty cool. I'm not even gonna lie. And I feel like this is like the type of thing that the Wii and the Kinect and the PlayStation Move would have liked to be able to do. What happened to those anyway? Why did they quit? Motion controls seem cool. Okay, so this is where I started running into problems. Mirror's Edge has a lot more buttons and actions that are required to play it, and that means mapping them to rotational triggers is a big pain. So you can see me trying to perform an action. Sometimes the wrong action's happening. When I'm trying to like turn, my character keeps flipping and looking in a specific direction, because I guess Mirror's Edge has a button that makes you face a direction. I think it's like to show you where you're supposed to go next, but I'm falsely triggering it way too often. Other actions also get triggered when I mean to trigger a different action. So, yeah. This is also the first 360 title I ended up testing. The original Xbox had fewer buttons, so go figure. So here we have kind of like this balancing section, and miraculously tilting back and forth to bounce across works pretty well. But yeah, you can start to see me struggle a bit more here. And yeah, Mirror's Edge was the biggest stress test of the system. But hey, we just gotta jump across that section there. Can't be too hard, right? Even with all the issues I'm running into. Oh, okay. The jump isn't working. No big deal. You don't need to jump in Mirror's Edge, right? Actually, we kind of do. So, yeah. It's at this point I decide that I need to make some quick changes to the code and adjust the control scheme and just remap some buttons here and there, remove some actions that aren't useful, and yeah. I do a bunch of testing. I get stuck in a staircase because that happened. And I finally get it. Kind of see me like swinging my body back and forth so that I can swing on the pole that I'm holding on to. And we made it across. Yay! Also, you may have noticed we're showing off way more Mirror's Edge than the other games because I ran into the most problems with this one. But being able to show this off was a stress test I wanted to do, because like, if I'm going to do motion capture based controls, we got to show off the parkour game. The parkour game would be the coolest game to show off. And it seems like after my adjustments, things are working a little bit better. At this point, it's me just trying to adjust to the control scheme. what's funny is this control scheme kind of makes me feel like I'm playing the game for the first time, which I kind of am as far as the control scheme is concerned. But I have played this game so many times, played through the story so many times. I know the game like the back of my hand, except now we've swapped out the control scheme. You kind of see my feet are like, have some actions mapped to them. And Mirror's Edge is also one of those games that requires a lot more precise platforming, which, yeah, that is going to put this control scheme through its paces. But what will matter is that I can get to the end of the tutorial. And so far, so good. Except this is where I quickly find out that there's another snag in my testing. And I end up trying to get past this next section. And I have to end up having to start doing some more code tweaks, recalibrate the trackers, do a whole bunch of other stuff. And yeah, it was fun trying to figure out how the heck I would come across this next obstacle that I was being put through. Mirror's Edge was a great stress test, and it drained my sanity. But we do some more testing, and I ultimately come to the conclusion that it's actually easier to navigate Mirror's Edge sitting in a chair than it is to be standing up and trying to navigate it. Somehow the being in the chair anchors the body better and reduces the amount of just user error in movement. So for the rest of this, I just sit. You can see that I still have some issues navigating the control scheme, but I start to do a little bit better here once I start sitting down. Unfortunately, you can no longer see my feet in the video feed, so you basically have to look at the Slime VR skeleton to see what my feet are doing. Now this part I kind of struggled with because it was like wanting me to do a low punch and I was doing a low kick instead. Yeah, I eventually figure it out, but yeah. There we go. We're so smart. Also, this is another instance where I try to do one action and it's doing the wrong action, but we finally get it. In conclusion, after turning game controllers into slime trackers, I turned slime trackers into a game controller. I'm impressed at how well it's worked for some games, and I think with a bit more work and maybe a more advanced gesture system, the action triggering could be way better. But yeah, for something I just whipped together in like maybe a night, this project came together very quickly, and the fact it works at all is a miracle. So yeah, thanks everyone who watched. I'll see you guys next time. And God forbid someone takes controller IMU tracking and funnels it into a singular X input device. That would just be controllerception, and I don't think I could handle that. But yeah, see you guys next time.